UAE is...
It almost seems like it's a light placement thing. So at the moment, Matt Henry, who I think does deserve an opportunity at some stage, is probably competing with Tim for his spot in this playing 11. That shot bowler that we see from New Zealand and Neil Wagner, Lockie Ferguson, battling it out with him. And then someone like Colin de Grandhomme, I'm not sure is in the running for spot Matt Henry because of the fact it would leave the batting a little light.
That's the conundrum, isn't it? Because in the UAE, he offered absolutely nothing with the bat. So that is the faith being shown now, I guess, from a New Zealand point of view.
Maybe it's someone like Scott Kugelheim, Doug Graceful, you've seen, batting in particular, perhaps come into that number spot, but right off Colin de Grandhomme just yet. You mentioned that his performances at home the last season or two have been terrific and does do a good job with ball in hand when there is something in the pitch. To be perfectly honest, he only has a best first class bowling performance of 3 for, let alone test matches. And Ajaz Patel picked up 4 for, 5 for even for New Zealand in that series against Pakistan. So, you know, he has to beat out Ajaz Patel for the main spin bowler's role. It's about taking your opportunities.
Will Somerville's put his hand up.
Yeah, both spinners used in the UAE. Very good performances in the 2 test matches that New Zealand won. Ajaz Patel in the first test match, of course, and then Will Somerville in the 3rd test match. Performance from Yasir Shah in Dubai in the 2nd test was phenomenal.
The continent feel for New Zealand this summer. Sri Lanka, it's more pace, bounce, seam, a lot of green. From New Zealand, go on to Australia to play 2 test matches and then straight on to South Africa.
Should be used to the short ball by the end of that, I would think, Russell.
Come end of March, probably good to get home.
Well-worn stereotype, isn't it, Dooley, the short ball to subcontinental sides. Not because Hamish Marshall.
Women's leg spinner. Just away on the offside again. That just being tested.
That had hit me all over it. We haven't seen many of these today. Wagner, of course, looked to try and bowl short, try to intimidate the batsman. And we'll offer you a few scoring opportunities along the way.
Yeah, well, and I wonder whether Trent bowled another quick burst was the back of Williamson's mind, and the reason is because Wagner usually does come in a little later than this, around the 22 to 25 over mark.
Shot of Debbie Hockley there in the centre of those 5. I just congratulate a couple of our fellow commentators as well as Debbie Hockley. I mean, life members of New Zealand cricket. So Debbie Hockley there, Leslie Murdoch, who's with us through the series, and Ian Smith, New Zealand cricket life members in recent weeks. Flipped away, big side, that'll be 4.
And it's 50 for the Sri Lankans. Wonderful partnership between these two, Dimuth Karunaratne and Angelo Matthews. 42, Sri Lanka needed then to absorb a lot of pressure. Finally getting a move on.
The other thing you usually see from Neil Wagner when he begins his first spell at least is that he will try and pitch the ball up and see if there's any movement that he can extract from this cricket pitch. He'll try and swing the ball back, and every now and again when the release comes right, he is able to do that. But he won't. I know he's known for the short ball, the bouncer, attacking the batsman under the armpit and the rib cage, but tends to try and bowl conventionally to begin with. Big slip in place.
Bowled very nicely. This one should reach the boundary, and it will. Gets it over to start for Neil Wagner. 11 coming from it, 55 for 3.
Yeah, the fielder from the deep just came into that leg slip position. So no one at all other than fine leg. Lovely shot from Karunaratne. He's into the 30s.
Scoring on these sorts of pitches can also be quite fast. Ball's coming onto the bat nicely, get through the line. Once you're in, can score at a quick rate as well.
This makes it a lot more easier, the left-hand, right-hand combination. Another feature of this innings, rotation of strike.
If you lose the toss and you end up batting first at the Basin Reserve, I think you have to be prepared as a batting unit just to suck it up. Runs in the first session do not matter one little bit. In fact, all the way through this test match, I think there'll be a little bit there with the new ball. And at that particular point in time, runs per over don't matter. It's about conserving those wickets. Don't lose those 3 we saw Sri Lanka lose early. Because you will be able to catch up. It will get better and better for batting. The bounce will come into play a little more, and you'll have a little more confidence in being able to hit through the line.
I was trying to get there. Doesn't look like there's a lot of bounce. Looking at Wagner and the short balls that Southee bowled earlier, they had to go very short to get it at the batsman's throat or even above. But when it's at a decent length, it's around waist height. Easier for the batsman to put it away.
Yeah, I talked about that at the pitch report as well, that it tends to be a little soft on day 1. And will harden up and quicken up on days 2 and 3, where that short ball perhaps will trouble the batsman a little more than what we've seen so far this morning. But I think Karunaratne as well has shown that he's looking for the pull shot. He loves to latch onto anything pitched halfway down, so you can use that to your advantage too, New Zealand can, and set the field for it if he wants to be aggressive.
Just about another 30 minutes to lunch. Both batsmen showing signs of looking for runs. Going to be important. They just continue the way they are, using the full face of that bat. Threat now is that he'll relax and probably play a loose shot. Last 10 test innings for Dimuth Karunaratne. 150, made 158 against South Africa. and 6 half centuries. That's how consistent he's been. I'd like to add that they've all been at home last 10 innings.
Whipped and gone. Full shot, Russell Arnold on cue. On point this morning. The rank full toss, and he's clipped it straight to mid-wicket. And Tom Latham takes the catch.
Umpires do want to have a look at that front foot. But the unlikeliest of ways. Oh,
okay, just
first
run that back,
impact.
please, Gavin.
Nothing behind the line.
First point of contact we need. Okay, I'm going to go back to
Karunaratne and it's
Michael on
Paul
field.
from de Grandhomme.
Michael. I've got no part of his foot behind the line when it landed, so it's a no ball. So I'll tell you, you're on screen now.
Don't mind that at all. It's a tight call. Michael Goff. Signal no ball now. Absolutely fine. That is completely at the bowler's fault.
Geez, dodged a bullet. Karunaratne and Sri Lanka. He found the middle of the bat. That was travelling straight to the field, and that's what can happen when you ride that tough period and suddenly things feel a lot easier.
Inside edge onto that one, onto the pads. So we'll put to discuss next up. 57 for 3.
खुराना जी चलेंगे अब सिम्बा की चाल।
मैं सिम्बा।
आपने सिम्बा का खंबा बना दिया मेरे को। कानपुर वाले खुराना 15 दिसंबर से रात 9:30 बजे स्टार प्लस और हॉटस्टार पर।
57 for 3 after being sent in Sri Lanka, and it should have been 57 for 4. Ian Smith, Mark Richardson and Colin de Grandhomme, just when New Zealand were looking to effect that 4th dismissal. Didn't happen.
I'm going to give first dibs at this to Mark Richardson. He's lining up here.
Well, it was a nice piece of fielding. Good stop as well. Yeah, I'm sorry, but first of all, Karunaratne's been batting very nicely, and this is a very, very, very disappointing way to get out. You get a full toss and put it straight to the fielder there, but then at de Grandhomme's pace, that's unforgivable. It just shouldn't happen.
Mark it down as a moment. We might be reflecting on that a bit more later this afternoon if they can't get another one soon.
Well, you've been put in to bat on a wicket that looks like it's going to suit the bowlers, and you could argue has, within reason. Sri Lanka could get through unscathed, another 15 or so runs. The lunch, 3 down. Well, they won't be happy, but they certainly won't be in trouble.
It's a good shot. They're looking for the second, and they won't take it. Not quick enough in the first, but yeah, they've done well. Was it 14 for 3 after the first 30 minutes, 31 for 3 after the hour, and then 57 for 3 now, 59 for 3 at in the partnership. 50. Karunaratne, 29 of 50. Should have been in the hut. He isn't. Matthews, 18 of those 50.
You never want to get too far ahead of yourself, but you do look to the future to set goals, target goals and outcomes. And if you're Sri Lanka and you want something to really knuckle down and motivate you, you think, all right, get through another half hour, get through to lunch, 3 down. Then you've only got to bat for an hour after lunch. You're effectively halfway through the day, put in, you're only 3 down. Then you start to think, you know what? Pretty good position.
stock delivery, isn't it? Neil Wagner, he likes to bang them in, but just going back to Karuna Ratner for a minute, you look at his series against the English. Have another wee look at this. Looked too bad, I think, against the short ball. It's been coming through and they've been able to set. Didn't connect that time, but hasn't made them look uncomfortable or tentative, as we saw from the 3 dismissals already. But they've rotated well, these two, Matthews and Karuna Ratner. And it is 61 for 3. There's the left-hander, Karuna Ratner, left-hand opener. Done very well against England. 4 and 26 in the first test. Lost, unfortunately, for Sri Lanka. 63 and 57 in the second, then 83 and 23. So the best of the Sri Lankan batsmen in the recent test series against England. All 3 tests lost by Sri Lanka, though, at home. And that trademark forward defence, one of the reasons why he is so good. But I think it's that partnership, isn't it, with the right-hander Matthews, and they've got them out of a whole lot of trouble this morning.
Well, I tell you what, driving him though, and had that not been a no ball from the Grenoble, absolutely filthy with myself. But not the case. A little reprieve, a little tap on the shoulder. The key. Continuing with the good control he's shown so far in this innings.
The swing here. Those 2 deliveries from around the wicket and all really angling and back in the air. Quite markedly well and truly misleg stump, but something else that they'll have to factor in. I agree with the comeback. I think they've done well, but as I say, another wicket or 2 before lunch and nightmare again. The New Zealand still, for me, very much on top here. Oh, man. Gee whiz, you got to look at the swing there, son.
Yeah, well, that was exquisite, wasn't it, knowing where your stumps were? Karuna Ratner this time. The ball just shaving, going past that off stump. I think PJ Watling was having a look at where it went as well. He's been out there for an hour and 40 minutes, so he should be seeing it pretty well.
Now, because of the previous delivery and the fuss made by New Zealand, he's decided, I'm not sure I can leave that because it's swinging. So he's forced into playing very wide. And that is good from New Zealand's point of view. You're going to defend that kind of width. You do tend to leave yourself open, and that's because of that swing.
Got a bit of it that time, didn't he? And not only did he come out wide, he went down and out of his crease as well. And the sun pouring out onto beautiful basin reserve. I think it is really a delightful cricket ground. The Hutakawas at both ends of this magnificent ground. Not out square, though. Overgone 61 for 3, and the aerial view of the Basin Reserve, and you can just see the Hutakawas, one on the left there, city end, and the southern end. And what better way to start the holiday than the first day of the summer of cricket live on Sky Sport here in New Zealand.
You're a gardener, Leslie?
Yep, love it.
So why are the ones in the middle not blooming?
Just haven't had the same amount of wind.
Okay.
I just made that up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't know the answer. Have to get Rude Klein passed on to the job. next three Sri Lankan batsmen. Skipper's in next, wicket keeper, and the spin bowler, Chandimal, Dikwela and Pereira. They've got a job to do, these two out in the middle. Left hand, Punaratna and Angelo Matthews.
Yeah, well, they won't want Pereira to be in before tea. Now that they've staged somewhat of a recovery, they really do have to forge on now. They've had a lifeline with the no ball. They've got to make sure they're together in 20 minutes' time when they walk off. And then they can't afford to lose more than one wicket in the next session.
I was really interested in that last over from de Grandhomme, the fact that the ball started to swing. Like a really swing, like a switch had been flicked. I do believe this is a ground when it's sunny, there's not much wind. That's when the conditions suit swing. But if this pitch is looked after the ball as it should have with the grass, maybe it's a condition to start hooping. I might consider bringing Southey or Bolt back. At the moment, the short pitch approach is not looking likely. Maybe Bolt or Southey again for a quick burst before lunch to see if they can get some sideways movement in the air.
A great save from Tom Latham in the field, outfield, behind the wicket.
The unusual position, really. Tom Latham, I'm just looking at that leg trap. You've got de Grandhomme, an orthodox fine leg. Latham at sort of a 45-degree as a stationary catcher. Oh, he's lining that one up, wasn't he? He was sort of preempting another short one. He had to make an adjustment. He did well, Matthews. And also Henry Nichols way out on the boundary. And he's just slightly in front of square. He has to be on the laws of the game. He can't be behind where the umpire is. He has to be to the right-hand side of it. You watch the adjustment here he had to make. He was thinking another short one there, and he had to adjust because it wasn't short enough, and it certainly wouldn't have given him the opportunity to free his arms. So, in the end, not a bad piece of batting. For me, this is just, it's really playing into Wagner's hands, this. And I don't know why, but everyone seems to fall into this trap.
Well, I don't know if avoidance is the first port of call for either of these two batsmen, Matthews in particular. So they have to make up their mind when they're back foot defending, when they're pulling. So far, Matthews has been good at controlling the short ball because it's been a little bit lower. So if they are going to play the hook shot and not fend at the short balls, then Wagner needs to get it slightly higher. Get the ball 1 or 2 or 3 inches higher than he has been right now. Now they're going to go for the fly slip. And that's landed a very fine third man. That's Southey going back. That's good. If you can duck it, you should be able to duck all day. You can trust the bounce here, and all of a sudden, anything of danger is out of the way.
It's a testing little time, isn't it? 15 minutes before the second hour, the first test of the summer, and they Sri Lankan batsmen having to negotiate their way through these short pitch deliveries. Field changes. And Wagner, who we know is so wholehearted, his bowling approach. Got out of that in time, and overs finished 62 Sri Lanka are for the loss of those 3 wickets. Young people, old people are all here, and why not? It's a Saturday. A lot of businesses and schools would have finished yesterday. Matthews going very well against Colin de Grandhomme, who in the last couple of his overs is starting to get the ball to talk.
point that man out actually, and it's Ajaz Patel out the deep square leg, and it's sort of a sucker position really because de Grandhomme is not a bounce bowler. But as a batsman, you can forget him being out there and take on that very infrequent short ball, and all of a sudden he comes into play. So Williamson has been very aggressive this morning, as you would expect anyway, with his field placings, and he has tried a lot of binky little positions, I suppose you could say. More orthodox really with de Grandhomme, but when Wagner's operating and bouncing at them, some of the most unorthodox fielding positions you'll see.
Well, that's the intrigue, isn't it? That's the best part about Test cricket, is that you've got time to do that and try different things. Sure that these little ones here are stacking it away for the future.
If de Grandhomme can get this ball swinging again and get Karunaratne defending towards cover quite wide, then the back pad on the onside comes back into play. There's a little inside edge there, so I think this method could be supported by bringing maybe mid-wicket in, back underneath the helmet, looking for an inside edge, a shot of this description.
I'm not sure there was an inside edge there, but he defended very wide, which was the point you were trying to make, because of that swing, presence of that swing.
You even see it swing back into Watling's gloves then, albeit a bit late, but not troubling the batsman. But
the other thing to look at is just how far down I think Karunaratne is also trying to get to try and negate swing as well. Now, we'll just have a look at where he's batting in terms of position, and just look at that, quite a long stride. He's a long way down there. And because of that, he's able to get outside the line and protect those stumps. 63 for 3.
I'm down there every night. I'm cutting the pipe. I'm doing the work.
You focus on something in your mind. You commit to it, it will come true.
नहीं बता दो है
fourth wicket partnership now with 54 between the opener, the left-hander, Karunaratne, and the right-handed Matthews. And they have resurrected it for Sri Lanka. 51 for 3. 14 for 3 indeed after the first 30.
I like this field, and it's intriguing for me, to be fair. We talked about the three men behind square or on square for the hook shot, but man at mid-wicket comes into play as well. He's quite a stationary fielder. None of them are really in there hunting the single. And the most interesting thing is the absence, really, of a slip cordon. We've got Ross Taylor and Kane Williamson way back down on the fence there as Tim Southey. Now, he's not there as a run protector. He's there as a genuine catcher, with Wagner bowling this length. Look, mid-wicket, not walking with the bowl. It's a genuine stationary catching position, and that's beautifully played. Man, that is an answer to that problem, isn't it? How well controlled.
Get the ball down, got the short ball, and more importantly, gapped it between the field that you've just described, Ian Smith, and got plenty on the bat. Came around with it. Wonderful control. And no chance for the fielders.
Creates doubt as well for Wagner, because the one that was high, the bouncer that was high, Matthews got under. And the next one was lower and not high enough. Matthews was able to get over the top and hit it all along the ground. Changes angle around the wicket. Great batting.
The effort ball, you can hear Wagner as he comes through, but Ian just needing to duck under it. Great crowd. First session of the first test, and they've certainly come out near hundreds, thousands here at the Basin Reserve de Grandhomme. done well with his overs.
Matthews' last couple of test match dismissals have been to the short ball. That's interesting. That's a different way of playing it.
But my theory on this is that because Southey had come up for second slip, he was looking to ramp this. He was looking to get inside it if it was going to be short and ramp it over the top of the slip cordon where Southey had come up from the boundary. He was trying to outthink Wagner here and outthink Williamson, but he didn't get the ball that he wanted and was just left a little bit hanging.
Oh, isn't this why we love Test cricket? Little battles within the session.
It indicates that he's not just prepared to wait the short pitch delivery outpatient it.
Really getting the ball to talk. Wagner. Ionimus.
But that's the other side of the short pitch. Well, you've got to come up with a plan of how you're going to deal with the bouncers themselves. Assessing the height, ducking, weaving. It's not high enough, controlling, hitting along the ground. You've also always got to keep in your mind that the odd one is going to be pitched up. You've got to make sure you're ready for that as well.
Extremely well left on this occasion on that delivery. And 68 for 3 Sri Lanka. Partnership continues for Sri Lanka. Colin de Gromholm gets the plaudits from the slip fielders. Continuing to move the ball around and examine the batsman's technique.
But New Zealand are imploring their bowlers just for one more piece of good cricket. They are really just wanting one more to add to the puzzle because, quite frankly, it's been quite a long time since their last piece of success. They were rocking and rolling at 3 down for 9. And really, they were at that stage cock-a-hoop thinking, gee whiz, we could roll this Sri Lankan side quite quickly. Well, that was about an hour and a quarter ago.
11:25 to be exact. The good thing from the Sri Lankan point of view with Runaratne and Matthews that they have continued to be closely monitored by the New Zealanders, but they have been able to deflect anything that's come their way. They've had short pitch bowling, they've had swing bowling, they've had changes of field. They've done it with aplomb. Go back to the no ball wicket. Got a bit on that, didn't he? Looked a bit wide of the crease, but right down behind, just between the bowler and mid-off. Well-earned boundary.
Well, the plan here wasn't to beat Ravel to Ravel's right. It was to smash it past his left through cover, not down through mid-off. No, ends justifies the means, no problem. Timing good enough.
I think it shows that last boundary how good the outfield is as well. That it almost increased in pace as it got to the boundary.
The other thing this partnership between Matthews and Runaratne is doing is it's important to send a message through the camp. Now, yes, this pitch is green, but it really holds no terrors. Yes, there's a little bit of movement every now and then. Expect to be beaten. Outside his crease again. They're trying to get close to the ball. Trying to negate the swing. 72 for 3.
A heap of wonderful cricket coming your way. Men's and women's super smash, 22nd of December, and that is live on Sky Sport 1. So a double dollop of super smash cricket. And I know the players are gearing up for it big time. Just under 2 hours of the first test match, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and thinking hard in the hut for the New Zealanders. Matt Henry last played a test December 2017 here.
Well, this over becomes a little bit about clock management in terms of trying to make this the last one. Sri Lanka will have done a really good job to get out of this if they can survive the next 5 days. Wagner generally doesn't muck around. He gets back to his mark pretty quickly. But 27 overs of action at this stage in the first 2 hours. 3 for 72. New Zealand still on top. Whether Sri Lanka can now kill a little bit of time with a bit of gardening and a chat, etc.
Now, someone at this point now needs shoelace to come undone. Something like that, because Wagner does march back smartly to his mark. Still about 3 minutes to go. A little bit of a mid-wicket conversation, that'll help. Hold the bowler up. I think Matthew's got to hurry up from the ump there.
And a more orthodox field too for Wagner.
Yeah, well, and that's governed also by the line that he's and the length that he's bowling all of a sudden. He's seen that the ball is swinging. He's abandoned the short pitch bowling, although don't write it off completely because there is 2 men back on the pull shot. So it's not for complete abandonment. Predominantly now, he's going to be a bit more orthodox with 2 slips and a gully and a keeper waiting behind.
Just keeping the ball on the deck. Karuna Ratner that time just watching it round, didn't get it as well as he probably would have liked, but more importantly picks up a run, rotates the strike.
Well, he read the height again. This one's only about chest height, so he can get over the top of it and control it, just purposely rolling the hands and swiveling the body to get the ball down. Good judgment.
I think there's enough doubt to suggest that they won't bother reviewing it, but there's food for thought there because he did go a long way across, did Matthews.
My first thought was it's pitching outside leg stump. Maybe only just. You can see the direction that Watling is headed. Watling's headed down the leg side. Wagner thinks it's out for all money.
Taking up a bit of time. As you do, you're getting close to the first break.
Well, you get at the pads, you need to take your gloves off to adjust your front pad. I mean, blasted out of position.
Wagner's made a point of signalling to his deep fielders. Is this the double bluff?
They look for a run as well to finish on a high, but Sri Lanka and the partnership of Karuna Ratner and Matthews is still together, and Sri Lanka 73 for 3 at lunch, first day of the first test. That's the session, 27 overs, 73 runs, and those 3 early wickets for New Zealand in nearly 120 minutes of play. As you can see, beautiful conditions, and there's the batting card. And goodness for Karuna Ratner, his 36 off